Okay, so just some context so this makes sense. I'm a kleptomaniac. I've been in trouble with the police before because of it about a year ago, and my aunt was really ashamed of that as I was stealing things from her, and that's how I got caught. Nothing really happened past a police visit though, which is why she's still cautious. So me, 17 male, and my siblings 11 and 13 females weren't allowed at our aunt's 32 female wedding as it was a kids-free wedding and I'm still 17. But then I found out my cousin who is 16 was there. So I asked my mom about it and she ended up telling me the truth why I wasn't allowed, which is for my stealing. My younger siblings still weren't allowed but the wedding was plus 15. She said she didn't want to run the risk of anything kicking off, especially since she had her wedding in a fancy venue. Which is understandable. I just don't see why she would lie to me about it, which is what I'm upset about. I told my mom I was upset about this, which will be relevant soon. She was having a small family party the day after, but I was still mad at her lying, so I said to my mom that I wasn't going to go, since that's how I felt about her lying. She didn't force me, and her and my siblings went instead, and I thought that would be the end of it. But nope. I got a call from my aunt while she was very drunk asking me where I was. She said she missed me and that I shouldn't care about the wedding because it didn't matter anyway. I assume my mom told her. She also said that it was for my own good that I wasn't invited to the wedding. But I told her that it's for her own good that I wasn't there. She hung up on me for that and then the next day, which is today, my mom has been giving me silent treatment. So I think I definitely went too far. Am I in the wrong? I wouldn't be mad if she didn't lie because I know my issue is a problem. And it especially has been in the past for her. But I don't see why she can't just be honest with me. We've talked about kleptomania before, so it's not exactly taboo. You are in the wrong. Your aunt told a white lie to spare your feelings. Your response to a white lie is pretty high and mighty from someone who literally stole from the person lying. You are in the wrong. Sorry, but I think you're going to have a hard time trying to hold a moral high ground here. Your aunt lied in an attempt to save your feelings. She was put in that situation because you stole from her, and she was scared you'd do it again. My mind reels at the ways of a kleptomaniac could/would get into a mountain of trouble at a wedding. Purses, jewelry, gifts, silver, and so on. What if you'd stolen from someone not family? What if you went too far? Your aunt was protecting you and herself and every other guest she invited. Imagine her guilt and feeling of responsibility if you had stolen from someone else. Your aunt loves you and has forgiven you. However, forgiven doesn't mean forgotten. You are in the wrong. You're a thief. Deal with your condition, and until you do, you have no leg to stand on. Years ago, I got really into houseplants and started to collect them. Over the years, I've had up to 70, but whittled my collections down to about 35, just the ones I really love. My niece Jenny, 14-year-old female, has developed an interest in plants, and will come over and we will talk about them, and she helps me with propagation and repotting. I had to go out of town for 2 weeks to take care of some work stuff, so I asked my sister-in-law and Jenny if they could plant sit for me. I told Jenny I would pay but also give her a few cuttings as a trade-off. They agreed and when they came over I gave a tour and explained the care needed, and also showed off a few prized plants. Sister-in-law asked how much a few of them ran me and I did share. This didn't seem weird because the family knows and I've gotten some plants as gifts. Well, I returned from my trip and was horrified. They watered and gave the right amount of light, but they also decided to give a lot of my plants haircuts. Big ones. My prized Sipuplu Potho's mother plant was destroyed. The climbing one too. My Mandula Pothos have been done the same. My gold in that I trained up my stairwell, my string of pearls hearts, and ruby necklace were all destroyed. My silver striped philodendron. The worst was that my pink Princess Philo had been reduced to 2 leaves, and my apple Montessera is down to 3. I don't even think they got nodes necessarily. These plans are expensive and priced. I basically broke down, and when they came to meet me to give back my key, I screamed and screamed at them. Jenny started crying, saying I said I would give her cuttings, so she thought it was okay. I screamed at her to go home and get what she stole from me and bring it back. Now, because she knew I didn't mean she could destroy my plans. Sister-in-law got between us and said what's done is done. I said no way, you're returning everything. Jenny said Mom already sold most of them on Marketplace. I lost it and just screamed and screamed at them until Jenny was crying and her mom got in my face and told me I was having a tantrum over plans. I told her to get out of my house and don't ever come anywhere near me or my home again. I called my brother, her husband, and he was shocked and said they told him I said it was all okay. He brought me the stuff she hadn't sold yet and apologized. I told him I never ever want either of them in the same room as me again. They are horrible, awful, irredeemable people, and that I hope they both burn in hell where they belong. He told me that he gets some upset, but that I'm taking it too far and that family means not holding grudges. I told him to leave, and I cried for the rest of the day. I'm posting because I need to know if my edict is over the top and if I'm overreacting. So, am I in the wrong for telling them that they are no longer welcome in my home, not even wanting them in the same room as me? You're not in the wrong. This wasn't a misunderstanding. Your sister-in-law knew exactly what she was doing and made a profit of it. I'm surprised your brother didn't realize something was amiss. Not in the wrong. Some of those plans can cost/bring in several $100s. I have lots of plans as well. Most were under $30. If anyone cut them up, I would freak out. I have put so much care and time into them that it would feel disrespectful. It is a form of stealing. Also, I understand my plans, and if/when they are ready to propagate and how to do so without causing issues to them. I would kick anyone out who messed with my plans, and I would never let them back in. Wow, not in the wrong at all. They deliberately waited for you to be gone so they could steal from you. It wasn't even for themselves, it was for profit. I hope you made them give you the money they received. It obviously doesn't help, but at least they are not profiting from your loss. What on earth got into your niece to do such a thing with her mother if she was so interested in your hobby? I feel your pain. I have some neighbors, a young couple around their 20s. They have lived in the apartment next to mine for 2 years. They have a dog, a small one. And I've always noticed them taking the dog on walks, but for the past 2 months, I just see them putting some pads on their patio and letting the dog poop and pee there. I've made complaints to them multiple times. I've called them lazy and told them to give up the dog if they can't care for it properly. I told them they are going with the easy way of not taking the dog for a walk and just letting them do whatever on the patio. And their argument is that first of all, they clean up after the patio at least twice a day and that the dog goes on walks every night. The girl also said that it is none of my business why she and her boyfriend do not take the dog out on walks and they don't have to answer to me. The next morning, I called the police and public health services on them. Authorities came and inspected and said that no laws are broken, and as long as the area is getting cleaned up daily, then the couple is not breaking any laws. I told them that the couple doesn't take the dog for walks, and the police said that the couple has their reasons for that. That I don't have to know these reasons. Now my whole apartment building sees me as the witch who called the police on the couple for that reason. I later found out from another neighbor who confronted me that the reason they let the dog go on the patio is because the girl is pregnant and is on bed rest, and that her boyfriend takes the dog out late at night when he comes from work. And how I was not entitled to that information since they didn't break any laws in the first place, and despite her bed rest, the girl still tries to do her best. Everyone in the building is now hostile towards me. Am I in the wrong? Well, that's what happens when you butt into someone else's business and call the police on them. You're definitely in the wrong. You are in the wrong. The police are to be involved for law enforcement. If it's not against the law, do not call the damn police. You took police away from actual duties to go around and be in someone else's business and wasted everyone's time. You are in the wrong. Here is the thing. Dogs do not need walks. They need mental stimulation, socialization, and exercises, and owners do not want them defecating inside. Taking them for walks is a great way to accomplish all those goals, but it is not a necessity if you find other ways of meeting those needs. Just because you do not see your neighbor taking their pup out for walks twice a day doesn't mean those needs are not being addressed. I, 23-year-old male, recently graduated college and got a job. My family, everyone from my mom's side, invited me out to eat at a restaurant. It was a pretty expensive place, but I agreed. We all talked and we were having a pretty good time until we got the bill. I asked for separate bills so I could pay for mine and our grandfather's. He's an elderly man, so it's fair that I pay for his meal. The family all looked at me like I was a thief. I asked what was up, and my aunt replied, "Oh, you could do us a courtesy of paying for our meals." The bill was somewhere in the thousands. I'm the only member of my mom's side of the family who went and graduated from college. So my family was using the excuse, "We threw you a surprise party, so the least you could do is pay." Grandfather confusedly told him no. I am fine with paying for a bill that's in my budget range. I would have paid for everyone otherwise. But the bill was in the thousands. Family did not even look through the prices before ordering. Grandfather tried explaining that it was their problem, and we argued back and forth. They kept suggesting I pay for their meals and they would pay me back. And I told them about all the money they owe me. After about 2 minutes, the argument went nowhere. I was called selfish because they are family, and I was turning against them. I called the waiter, paid for mine and my grandfather's meal, and left with him. But I left him $200 to help cover. Instead of using it towards the bill, the aunt pocketed it and spent it on alcohol and cigarettes after leaving. Most of them brought their own money so they could pay. I was getting angry calls and visits saying I should have just been a man and paid. So, am I in the wrong for not doing so? Nope, you're not in the wrong. They didn't throw you a surprise party. They threw you a shakedown. Not in the wrong. Stop giving these people money. They are leeches. They invited you to dinner, racked up the bill and expected you to pay? That's disgusting. Only have contact with your grandfather moving forward. To hell with the rest. They are using you and do not care about you. Not in the wrong. And if anything, they should have paid for you since they invited you. Seriously, what is wrong with these people? Glad your grandfather stood up for you. At least he sounds sensible.